What is AireCon and why do you want to go?
This is our 5 reasons why we're super excited to go to this board game convention. Hi, I'm Libby, this is Julian, and together we make up BoxedMeeples. Now we are going to AireCon again this year. I went last year as well for work, and this year you're going to get to join me.
Yeah, I've never been, so looking forward to my first try. I've heard lots of things about this convention, both from you and from the community as a whole, so I'm very excited to go because this is a board game convention with a difference.
It really is. I think it has a completely different vibe to some of the other ones out there, and that will make up some of the 5 reasons why we're super excited to go visit this year. So
let's dive in.
Let's get in. So reason 1 for us is that it is a sort of a gameplay convention. A lot of conventions like UK Games Expo, Essen, I was at back in October, absolutely rammed, absolutely huge, but they're full with retailers, with publishers, and the aisles are ram-packed. You can barely move. They're like sardines. And this one feels like it flips everything on its head and has so much more of the gameplay tables, and it still has those retailers, publishers, etc., but kind of the reverse amount of them, I think.
Yeah, there are still people showing the latest games, but it's not the same thing as these cavernous halls with these huge stands with, life-size miniatures of the latest board game new hotness. People aren't, beckoning you to come to their stand and chucking freebies at you. This is very much that it does exist, but the focus is actually on getting together and playing games. And I think a lot of that comes from the kind of the origins of this convention. Originally, it was just 2 guys in a house playing some games, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you want to find out about the history of AireCon, there's a really great video from our friends at Fun with Boxes. We've got a link to that in the description, so have a watch of that to see how this started and how it's growing. But getting bigger and bigger every year, but it's always still got that focus on getting together and playing games.
Yeah, it really does. And I feel like because it's such a gameplay convention, if you're somebody who does struggle in some of those bigger crowds, the busier times, then perhaps this is a con for you to try, because it does just feel a little bit more chill. It doesn't have so much of that kind of rammed hallways and corridors everywhere, and you can sort of find a nice little crevice in the corner and have just be that little bit more relaxed in this one. It's less fast paced than a lot of the other conventions, I think, which is a good thing.
So with this focus on games playing, there is a kind of a focus on socialising, and a lot of the reasons I'm looking forward to going to AireCon is to catch up with people, is to spend some time with people we talk to online, and just to sit down and actually play games. They've got a really massive lending library, so there's very much a focus on both while the convention's on and after the hours of the convention, gathering together, getting a game from the library, sitting down and playing. Now, don't be intimidated by that if you think, oh, I'm going on my own, I don't know anyone there, because it's geared towards people like you as well. They've got mechanisms in place that allow you to join people. Often people hold up those little flags.
Yeah, they have a flag system saying, you're looking for gamers or that kind of thing. So you can sort of step in and join in and make some new friends, which is what part of the joy for us about conventions is. We're not only meeting up with friends that we've already made, but invariably we make new ones along the way, and getting the opportunity to play games with these people is just fantastic. It's a hobby that obviously we're there. That's something that we're both going to really enjoy. And particularly when, you make some friends online through the internet, because we do similar things in terms of content creation and things. We don't always get to sit in a room together. So it's a really nice chance, especially because this is a bit more of a chilled convention, doesn't have that pressure of everyone at different meetings with different publishers and things. We do get more of a chance to sit at a table and just relax and get to know each other a bit better, and do that whilst playing a game. Why not?
Yeah, it's very much the spirit of the convention. I mean, we'll be walking around. If you see us, do grab us and say, do you want to play a game? I know the people from Watch It Played are going to be there, and various other kind of people from the YouTube community. And it's just, a chance to actually just play games. And that's with all these conventions, you don't have to put on a facade about diluting how much you care about playing board games. It's not a case of, oh, I might look a bit geeky if I reveal that I've got every possible expansion for Root and I've even customized all of the pieces. You don't have to worry about that, because if someone's bought a ticket to a board game convention where the focus is on playing games, they're there to play games. And more often than not, if someone's taken their very favourite game with their pimped out version that looks magnificent on the table, they're going to want to show it off and they're going to want to teach new people.
And we're all going to be super excited about it.
Because when you've got a favourite game, it gets even more exciting and even more enjoyable when you play it with someone new and they're bringing something else to the table. Or even better, when you're playing against someone who's played it just as much as you and you have the kind of meeting of minds as you duke it out on your favourite game. It's very much a convention, from what I understand, that focuses on allowing those things to happen.
So next up on the list is something that I've come home and raved about to you. And it's the food trucks. I mean, we get food trucks at UK Games Expo as well. But last year's food trucks were just chef's kiss. They're right outside the convention hall, so it's super convenient, not too expensive, and you can get a really different and delicious dinner whilst you're there. I think they're going to expand that this year, so there will still be the food trucks outside, particularly the ones that do gas cooking, because they're not allowed inside, but then I think there's going to be more of an area inside one of the halls where there's some tables and other vendors and stuff there as well, so might have a few more options than when we had last year. But do you remember the poutine was good last year?
Yeah, and if you're doing this convention right, you're going to be staying up late, so you're going to need to get your food. And what's good is they have now got places you can eat, because I know some people get, rightly so, a bit worried about the condition of their games. They don't want greasy fingers on it, but now they've got places you can eat as well, which is very important. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to these. I love food trucks anyway. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of getting my board game fix while getting some delicious food in there.
Yeah, and obviously, don't get me wrong, there are some great restaurants in Harrogate as well. It's a lovely town. The convention hall is quite central, actually, so you can just sort of run off out of the convention centre, have a little wander on your feet. You don't need a taxi or anything. Find a nice restaurant and then pop back into the halls later. So it's really nice and convenient. Like one's like perhaps, you know, UK Games Expo in Birmingham. Yes, there's a lot of food options there on site, but if you wanted to sort of head into Birmingham proper to go to restaurants, it'd be a bit trickier, whereas this is super easy. On your 2 feet, wander down the streets and you're all good.
Now, if you've watched any of our board game convention videos, you'll know how much we love a bring and buy.
We do.
It's the first place we kind of head every chance we get at these, you know, this default. You're going to find the Holy Grail game there for that price you can afford, and it's going to be finally on your shelves, ready to play. It happened for me last year at the UK Games Expo. I have fingers crossed that it could happen again at AireCon. And bring and buy, you know, if you don't know, you take games you've either outgrown, you don't play anymore, you've got games you prefer playing, you take those and you obviously sell them. And meanwhile, people are coming to obviously buy them from you. And we all know you can buy board games everywhere. You can, obviously, a good place for any local game store, but you can also buy them online. But that's always a bit of a risky endeavour.
Yeah, you never really online, you never know sort of exactly what condition it's going to be in and things like that. So going to a bring and buy gives you that chance to get hands on with it. You can check that you're happy with it, that it's the version that you think it is, and all of that kind of jazz. I mean, last year I think I did super well there. I managed to pick up an excellent condition copy of Wonderland's War and also Islebound, which is really hard to find here. Still difficult to find almost a year later. So I was really pleased with those choices, and they're two fantastic games that we're enjoying having on the shelves here. So that was really great. And for me, I think bring and buys are often that kind of, oh, I still regret that I didn't back that Kickstarter. Maybe someone didn't like it as much as I might, and they've got it in there. And there is often like some massive box things, but there's a huge variety. Things that are normally going for sort of less than a £5 or £2-3 sometimes, way up there into sort of £150+ for the big box Kickstarter with all the expansions and all the stuff. So I think there's often something for everyone there if you're looking for adding a little bit into the collection or just switching, changing some bits out for a bit of variability, really.
Yeah, I just like browsing the shelves, and often there's games I'd never even heard of that I look and go, oh, Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I'll take a risk on that, and I always I buy the cheaper end just to risk it on something I've never even heard of.
Oh yeah, you always have a £5 gambit.
I do,
you?
yeah, just to buy something and see if it actually is worth the £5.
But I think that it's, you know, we often think of, especially the bigger conventions, as a sort of a retailer event, and everyone's super excited for the new hotness, and you know, rightly so are we. But sometimes you can add an older game that's been loved, or maybe hasn't been loved as much as it should have been, and add that to your collection. It's just as fresh as new to you because it's still new to your collection. Yep. So they don't always have to be in shrink to be super exciting. Another fantastic thing about conventions, and particularly this one here at AireCon, is all of the sort of events and tournaments and things that go on. Last year, I had such a good time, and this links back into the social element really, because it was because of some of these events that I ended up making some new friends that I'm really excited to see again. They had things like Just 100, where we played just one, but there was hundreds of us. The room started with sort of probably maybe 16 games, perhaps something like that, all with normal player count or sat around the tables. And then, after a couple of rounds, some tables merged, and then after a couple of rounds, some more tables merged, and then more tables merged, until the whole room was playing that one game, trying to think of something interesting but unique to say about that one word that was on the card that no one else was going to say, but the person would still be able to guess it. And it was just so much fun. People ended up playing it back at the hotel later on. It's one of my huge highlights from last year. And there's loads of choice and things for people to do. We're actually going to be running a Dodo World Championship.
You would have seen it at UK Games Expo last year. We're bringing it to Harrogate.
We are.
So if you're a master Dodo player, or indeed if you've never played it before, which might give you an advantage, come along to that bonkers event.
Yes.
It's a children's game we're taking far too seriously. If you've seen it at UK Games Expo, you'll know what we're talking about, and there's a chance to meet the Dodo, of course.
Yes, it's just going to be very, very silly with a very wibbly wobbly egg. And it's part of my day job thing for Cosmos and Devere. But yeah, just a bit of fun on a Saturday morning with a Dodo. Why not?
Bit of nonsense. But what's good is it's not just these big events. People are there at the demo areas showing off, their new game, and there's a chance to meet developers and see, how is this game developing? How's it growing? How far away from, funding is it? Is it going to Kickstarter? Is it going to retail? So they have these smaller kind of chats you can have with various developers, which I think are exciting to go to too. So you do see the complete different ends of the kind of board game creation spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that sort of game seeker area. I'll also be doing some demos with White Castle and Dragon Keepers, fully published, finished games, as well as the sort of demo playtesting. You've got that spectrum, and then these tournaments and these events, and you've got RPG stuff. Of course, there's going to be blood on the clock tower in every corner and crevice around. I'm hoping we can definitely get into a group of that, because last year I just missed out on it. UK Games Expo, we were supposed to be playing with people.
But something came up, so we couldn't go. Local convention, we were going to play it, and then we were involved in some filming, so we didn't get a chance to. So this time, I want to be in that kind of semicircle of shame, with my role, trying to bluff it out. I want to be fully immersed in a game of Blood on the Clock Tower with people who know how to play the game.
And I think, that game is so thematic, it feels like an event, doesn't it?
Yes.
So there's just so much on for all sorts of different types of tastes within the board gaming world, that there's going to be something there for everyone, and people just having so much fun. So that's why we're really excited about it.
So if you do see us, once again, please do say hello. There's no need to be shy about it. If we're demoing a game, join us, come and play the game. Or if you just want to show us a game you love that we've never played, happy to play. If you've got any questions about AireCon, please put them in the comments down below, and we'll do our best to answer them, or at least find an answer if we can't answer it from your personal experience.
If you want to join in the Dodo tournament, you can book online. We'll put a link to the AireCon booking down there, just in case you wanted to sort of join in.
And as we have done with other conventions, we are going to do our best to upload daily vlogs while we're there. So if you're coming on Saturday, you can watch Saturday morning. Ideally, what happened on Friday. That's what we're going to try and do once again.
We'll see how
because
that goes.
I just don't need sleep, it seems. So if you aren't subscribed to our channel, please consider doing that. So you don't miss out on any of our future AireCon content or any of our future content whatsoever. Liking this video really does help us, and yes, get involved in the conversation down below.
And if you can't make AireCon, we're more than happy for you to tell us about your favourite conventions and what you love about them. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
Bye.